don't believe the narrative.
Let's make a year of exploration, a year of celebration. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. Our opportunity, our moment. Let's march into finals.
The Mull in full flow. The Hurricane Higgins. He's about to pounce. Gets there. Owens, the same goes marching in.
Picked up Phillippo. Spinning. Brilliant angle. Matthias Phillippo with one of the best.
Well, it's taken us some time to punch out episode 7, but we've come together for another Over the Ditch Saners. How are we, chaps, over in New Zealand?
Not too bad, mate. Not as cold as you are there, obviously.
No, certainly not.
Yeah, no, not going too bad over here, though, eh, Sammy?
Yeah.
Keeping busy, that's the main thing.
That is right. I'm that desperate. I've had to put on my big freeze beanie, so that's how warm it is in Ballarat at the moment.
Looking good, mate. Looking good.
No, actually, talking about the beanie, I think it's about the bloody best one they've done, and it's the 10th anniversary. It's even got the little gold pin on it.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Not that I pointed at it, but anyway. All right,
you got in the direction.
Sorry, was that mate?
You got in the general direction.
Yeah, well, it was pointed at my head. That's the main thing. Anyway, this episode we've decided to change up a little bit from the normal formula. There's a lot of fans out there that are getting frustrated and probably understandable. So we thought we might address, in our eyes, what in the heck's going on. So we've posed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions that we'll discuss. We won't go into great lengths because we don't want to be on here for 6.5 hours for the listeners and viewers. But here we go. The first question. What's going wrong this season so far?
Well, up to you, bro. Go. You want to smoke it out?
I think losing key players to suspension or injuries. Obviously, we can't control injuries, but some silly decisions can cause suspensions, losing leadership role players or
That can make it, and then it comes into we have a game or two where we're down a wee bit on things, and you lose confidence, and once your confidence goes, those split-second decisions that the same decision. If you've got a decision to make when your confidence is up here, and you've got the same decision to make when it's down here, there's all that in between area where that's a grey area. And, should I do it? Should I do it? Whereas if your confidence is up, you've made that decision, it's done, it's worked, and you're away. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then that leads to confidence breeds confidence, but then the lack of confidence the confidence goes down, and it's just it's been a big vicious circle of no confidence at all, I think.
Yeah.
But like I say, a lot of things can lead into that. I think the likes of Crouch, for an example, even before this question was asked to me, got a mate who's not on Facebook or anything, but I was telling him about our last episode where we talked about most player who we need the most,
Yeah, most valuable, yep.
His is Crouch. He said to me, he goes, he may make a couple of bad passes or whatever, he goes, but he'll give you 110% every time he goes out there. He'll bust his guts. And other players feed off that, So there's one, and we had a few fellas out with injuries, Clark, Crouch, those sort of fellas, and it does make a big difference. And fellas trying to then play positions they're not familiar with because of other fellas being out, and then you're weakening a position that they're coming from, and let's say there's a lot of things that come into it for me. But what are your thoughts, Tim? You can probably make it more sensible than I can.
No, it's all good. I believe you've nailed it a little bit with the Crouch factor, because we're too reliant, without Crouch in there, we're too reliant at Steele doing the grunt work, where Crouch takes some of the grunt work off Steele, and he's always in there getting the ball out to the guys that we need the ball given to. And our weakest link in our whole team is our midfield. So we can't
100%.
afford to lose a guy of that caliber. Not that he's a superstar, he's not. But he does put his body on the line, hence why he's
Yep.
bloody injured. But he also takes a lot of the workload off Steele, where Steele can then be an outside player where he plays his best football. But then on top of that, it's been reported that Steele's been carrying a crook bloody knee all season.
I did hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really, truly believe that's a problem. And also, too, it's the first season for a couple of years where we haven't had the twin bloody midgets in the forward line, Higgins and Butler. And
Exactly.
the beautiful thing about those two is they complement each other. Higgins is more your out the back, get a goal sort of player, but Butler adds that forward line pressure. And one thing clubs have been doing better against us this year is getting the ball outside of our attacking 50. We're not locking the ball in like we were last year. And
This last week, I remember after the weekend's game, you said to me about how King wasn't taking the marks, but he was presenting himself and he was bringing the ball down. He missed those two blokes being there.
Yep.
When he was bringing that ball down, because they cleared it out of there. So there's so many of them times. So there's a great example of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If either or both of those were there, I think we're a lot more chance. Probably 4 or 5 more goals we kick, as you say.
100%. And we're not going to kick a winning score with Ross Lyon's game plan without those two on the forward line.
Yep.
Because all clubs do, and you hit it on the head then just before, is they know if they can force King to have to bring the ball down and not give him a clean run to market, we haven't got those two blokes in the forward line to scout it.
Yeah, that's it.
Now, the next question is the game style being passed by? Meaning, the game style that a lot of people are saying that Ross Lyon presents was so 2010. Now, is there, with those players and all things going well with injuries, etc., like that, is his game style up to it in 2024?
Can you go first or me? Well, I'll go sort of another way to put this, because I thought when we were at our best last year, we didn't play that game style. We played that hard running, we can run them off their legs type footy, you know what I mean? And taking risks. And we're not doing that. We haven't done that at all this season. So we went away from, we weren't really playing the style of footy we were used to playing under Ross Lyon. So he came in, we had all those injuries, we had all the young fellas having a crack. And we had a completely different sort of game style. I'm not sure why we aren't trying to have a crack at that, whether fitness, like I say, with carrying injuries and that sort of thing, but that worked really well for us.
Yeah, no, certainly did.
So that's just a backflip on the question, really, I suppose. Because, Stanley, what were your thoughts on that idea?
I had kind of the same thing. It's like, I don't know. It's adding on to the not playing as fast footy as we did last year, which obviously worked very well. Maybe, I don't know if it's other teams noticing that and cracking down on it against us, or just poor performance or missing players that really help with it.
Yeah,
it's a hard one. It's hard. Like, I've got ideas in my head, but trying to get them out into the right words is a bit of a bugger, But yeah, it is hard. Obviously, the game has changed a lot, hasn't it?
Certainly has.
I think there's a method to Ross's madness, even though a lot of people won't like that. That there is a method to his madness, and let's hope that. All I can say is let's hope we can keep playing a few of these young fellas, get them a bit more experience, and because to be fair, at this stage, unless something crazy turns around, we're not going to be playing any finals footy. So we just need to concentrate on next season pretty much and get everything going as ship-shape as we can for then and get the experience into these fellas. Your ideas, Tim?
Yeah. No worries. First things first, there's a lot of supporters calling for Ross Lyon's head and want him gone already. He's half a season nearly into his second season back.
Yep.
You got to take into account the list is not his list. So he's done last year he did a lot of patchwork to try and do what he could with the list that wasn't his to make it competitive. He had a piss poor run with injuries last year as well, but for some reason it mustn't have been the players that affect our game style the most that were injured. Because at one stage St Kilda was still winning games at the start of the season with the longest injury list.
Yeah, and with all those young fellas coming and having their first crack, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
100%.
they probably wouldn't have got a crack without all those injuries. They still wouldn't, they wouldn't have had as many games by far. Now I don't believe it.
100%. 100%. And look, if you polled, there's 18 teams. If you polled all 18 coaches, I'll guarantee you 16 of the 18 will say the most important thing in football is restrict the opposition's scoring.
Yep.
Yes, you got to kick a winning score, but they would rather have a decent backman that they know is going to save them 3 goals over 4 quarters than a forward that's going to kick 2 goals or a forward that's going to kick 3 goals even, because it's about restricting the opposition and then kicking enough to beat a team. So whether or not his style holds up, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon and say it doesn't yet, because he's still got to turn over some players.
Yeah.
I do have fear of one bloke he's going to pass over without giving him enough opportunity, but that's our next question. So moving forward at the moment, for me, the jury's out whether or not the game plan and style has been passed by, but I don't think it's fair to say it has when he hasn't had the personnel this year, and the players that he's lost are crucial to his style.
I did actually skim through an article, Smoko, yesterday, and I can't remember where it was on or who wrote it or anything, but it was a lot about the list, and there's a lot of still Alan Richardson's players there and those sort of things who.
Yep.
And it was quite interesting. I went quite in depth into a bit of it, and Alan Richardson's and obviously what's his name? Ratton.
Yep.
So it was really interesting with some of the points they come up with, and made me take a good look at it. And
I believe that don't they say it takes about 5 years to turn over a list?
Yeah, well, he's got the he's signed up for long enough, so we'll be able to find out if he can or not.
That's true. And look, to be honest, even if his game style's not up to scratch, is it really typical St Kilda to sack a coach? Probably.
Yeah. And I would just get back to Ross thing. For the players of the 2000 late 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, those sort of players. But some very, very talented footballers come through there, probably one of the best teams to have not won a premiership.
Yep.
And the respect they have for Ross has to show something, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
And they've all, I hated him when he left. Honestly, didn't even say his name for a good while. And just fully hated him with a passion. But then you read a few things about it, and you hear the way those players talk about him with such great respect. There's obviously something pretty good there, and let's hope he can bring that to this current crew.
Well, you know what, that's an interesting thing, because I've heard the same thing and whatnot like that. But also too, when you consider the tightness that group had with Grant Thomas prior.
Yeah.
And I know we ended up with Waters in between. So I understand that we had Waters for like 12 months in between. But still, they were very tight with Grant Thomas. So for them to still be tight with Ross Lyon says a lot about Ross Lyon as a person, because they were very tight with Thomas.
Yeah.
Very tight.
Yeah.
All right. So our third question of the 5, should Ross be persevering more with Hayes?
Yeah, right. I reckon you should definitely be using because Rowan, he gets double teamed a lot or worn out by a few quarters into the game, he can't be by himself without another option of ruck who can kick a goal and if he gets worn out, go on the ruck as well. Because like Machito, obviously he tries, but he's just not big enough.
Caminiti as well, and I don't think we want those players being in. We don't want them risking injuries.
But yeah, I reckon using him a bit more would definitely help because both of them can kick. Hayes and Ron can kick goals. If you give one or the other a chance from a set shot, they'll both kick goals. So
yeah, very cool. And I reckon 100% yes is the answer. Like he's come back from injury. They kicked a couple of goals, and let's be honest, he was in a team that was playing shit. They were playing terrible football, and he got dragged, for whatever reason, and omitted the next week. Which give the bloke a chance to get not only his body right for AFL football, but his mind, because it's a different level. It's a different level from going from VFL to AFL is from here to here. You know what I mean? And he's had a game I'd say where he kicked a couple of goals, played well, and did help Rowan out, and then gone to a game where the whole team are playing shit football. Not going to sugarcoat it, and you can't be the scapegoat for that. You know what I mean? So 100%, give him more chances, let him get there, and put a few games together.
Yep.
Put a few games together, get the mind and body right, and he'll be away because we know he's got the ability.
Yep.
Obviously, buddy, I'm probably a bit biased because I'm a big fan of his. Yeah, 100%. I say. So what about you?
I was going to say, mate, this show is a big fan of Hayes, not just yourself, but 100%. My fear for Hayes is if they've got to make a decision. If he's fit, knowing that we're probably not going to play finals now unless we won the rest of the games for the year, which we're not going to do, right?
No.
Let's be honest. Let's just see how good he is. Let's see how good he is when he can string together 6-7 games in a row.
Yeah.
And that, because my fear is, come the end of the season and delisting, it could be goodbye Jack Hayes. And that really, I find that quite alarming, to be honest. But that's a reality.
Another thing I read the other day is there are a few teams circulating who wouldn't want him, who wouldn't mind having him. You know what I mean? So,
yep.
So a few other teams, Victorian teams, are looking at him quite seriously because they're thinking that might be happening. So gets delisted, they get him for nothing.
That's right.
Chuck a few games into him, let him get some confidence up as we've spoken about. Get a few games together, and then if we don't want him, at least he's got a bit of value there for trade.
Yes, 100%. 100%, and he's never had a clear run since he's been with us. And look, admittingly, he's probably not costing us a fortune because of the way we got him and that sort of thing. However, I think there's other players on our list that should be delisted before him. But that's my main fear for him. All right, so we'll move on to the fourth question, which is almost a bit of Groundhog Day to the first question, the way I answered it, and that is, how much do we miss the two smalls up forward? Now, I've basically said my beliefs. Let you two guys probably expand on the subject matter.
Yes, because I was with you on that first one. Yeah.
Like was said earlier, when King, he can get the ball, but if he doesn't mark it and still brings it to ground, we don't have the people there to gather the ball and still have a chance at scoring goals. And I think, like you said, it could be 4 or 5 more goals in a game that could have us a better chance at winning with them there. So I think, we're definitely missing him a lot.
And how many times do you see Higgins, crumb a ball and shoot out the back and kick a goal on the run?
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot more than you see him hit a set shot, and Butler's huge. So for just on that, I believe, are they both available this week?
Butler's definitely right, and I reckon Higgins must have just about done his 3 weeks.
Yeah, and getting back to it, I think someone said Crouch and Parker are thereabouts too, aren't they?
Yes. Yep. Hunter
Sorry,
Clark
change it up a bit.
and
I'm just
Crouch.
yes.
And the
So
other
we could
thing,
have some huge ins this week.
that's true. And the other thing about it is too, and I know it was only against Richmond's VFL team, which are pretty ordinary, but young Allison kicked 5 goals.
Yeah, which is good.
That's right.
Yeah,
Look. People were saying, but it was only against Richmond's VFL team, and I probably sort of hinted that anyway. But you still got to kick the ball between the big sticks. And what's been one of our Achilles' heels is kicking the ball between the big sticks.
Indeed.
So yeah,
With that, now they've been hugely missed, and it'd be great to have them back.
Yeah.
Both back, hopefully together, and with a few of those other boys, it'll be good, and it'll free up players to go back into their own positions properly. You know, probably even Sinclair. You know, getting back, running off half back and stuff like that.
Yep.
You know, there might be someone like, you know, Bonner, who might have to go and have a rest or something like that. But that is what it is. Yeah, I think it'll be huge for us to get all these fellas back from injury, and there will be fellas who will be going to be omitted and probably do them the world of good.
Crouchy got over 30 possessions too, just for the record. So
Yeah.
he's obviously playing all right.
As you were saying about him helping steal it, and that's what Nathan was alluding to me. He goes, he's just always there, putting in 110%. He may make some mistakes, but he like I say, he frees him up. I think it's going to be huge for these fellas to be.
But even when Crouchy makes a mistake or makes some mistakes, it's not a massive amount. It's only 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You know,
and he'll make sure he'll make up for it in the next passage of play. He'll make up for it. You know, and he's one of those fellas, bit of old school fella. You know what I mean? If he fucks something up, he'll do his best to fix that up. You know what I mean? So.
And the other thing about him is too, if there's any remonstrating with the opposition, he's friggin' in there. He wears wears the badge on his, you know, his heart on his sleeve. He loves the badge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just one other thing too, I want to point out is I've been reading on social media, you know, when a few of the outs were and people critiquing the players and that. I really think there's a lot of morons out there that don't realise actually how good of a pickup Liam Stock has been.
Oh, he's been great, yeah. Oh, there are a few bags are there.
Yep, bagging him, reckons he doesn't know how to use the football. He's one of our best field kicks in the frickin' team.
No, I reckon he goes all right.
Yeah, no, I don't comment because all I know will happen if you make a comment is it'll be on like Donkey Kong, and it's just not worth it, to be brutally honest. But I must say I cringe. All right, the last question. Sorry, go.
Mate. The way I see it, I don't like the bag players. But the main reason is I'm sitting here in my bar having a freaking VB. They're out there busting their ass up every week in, week out, you know. And they've got to where they got for a reason. They didn't get handed, you know, a freaking participation certificate to get into the team.
No.
They worked there to get there. And, you know, a lot of us armchair experts and, you know, a lot of people, so, you know, social media is a very, very easy outlet for you to be a bit too critical sometimes, you know. And I do feel for a lot of the families and friends of the players who are on some social media pages, because it must be freaking hard, you know. It must be hard.
Yeah, and I was going to sorry, go.
Friends.
Yeah, I was going to say, Danny. Sorry, I was going to say one thing. Social media's done. It's empowered the weak to be tough.
Yeah.
Keyboard warriors everywhere.
Back in Windermere West, mate, when I was a lad, if you had a problem with someone, you'd go knock on the door and ask them to come outside and put one on their chin. Or they'd put you one on your chin and you'd be like, okay, maybe I should have stayed home.
Well, yeah, you had a choice of that or win the fight by 500 metres, but it was one of the two, wasn't it?
Yes. The world has certainly changed. And not for the better in that thing. Although social media can be a beautiful, beautiful tool. It can be a great thing. But it can be a real bugger too, you know?
Certainly can. So the last question we've decided to discuss today, we do have one pick, I believe, in the mid-season draft. What sort of player should we draft in the mid-season?
Another thing adding on to, I can't remember who it was, but said earlier on, midfield is one of our weakest links in the team. So even if they're just like a midfielder who can sit on the bench and then if someone's not performing well or is fatigued,
Come and make an impact.
and make a difference and possibly help win the game by just having a fresh player on. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. I'd go. Can we get another Darcy Wilson, or another Darcy Wilson would be nice, or a depending on what's happening with the likes of Jack Hayes, who we've gone on about. If he's not in favour, a ruckman who can come and help Marshall out. You know what I mean? We need something like that because he definitely needs help. And if for whatever reason Hayes is not up to scratch and not in favour with the coaching staff or whatever it is that's keeping him out, Big Row definitely needs help.
Yeah,
100%. For me, I don't care what position they pick. They just got to pick someone that's actually got foot skills because that is one of our Achilles heels.
Yeah.
I don't care if they're a ruckman. I don't care if they're a backman. I don't care if they're a midfielder. I don't care if they're a forward. They've got to be able to use the ball with field kicks and be able to hit targets.
Yeah.
Because that is our Achilles heel. We get the momentum and we turn it over.
That's it, mate. That's it.
But that's terrible. It's so frustrating to watch. And I don't necessarily believe in swearing at the TV, but this season, for some reason, I do find myself swearing at the TV regularly this season, which is not good.
Yeah. I end up watching the game. You last Saturday, were you here? Oh, you were Brenda, yeah. No. I ended up watching the game just by myself last Saturday, and I was. At least I thought they were having a crack. At least they were having a crack, but like I say, foot skills and some silly things. They were a lot better team than they were the week before. Anyway, we'll put it that way. But still a lot to be desired.
The thing is, though, when you look at the season we've had, we've only been bent over once so far, and that was against the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
And that night, the Bulldogs would have beaten anyone they played because they were copping it left, right, and centre. So they were going to beat whoever they played.
How often does that happen, though, that a team gets pumped the week before and then everyone's on them, and then they just happen to have St Kilda that week?
Yeah.
Or their coach gets the sack and they just happen to have St Kilda that week. And what happens inevitably when a coach gets sacked? The team wins the next week.
Or a club great from the past passes away and they play St Kilda.
Yeah, that's how many times has that happened? Crazy.
100%. But interestingly enough, though, in fairness, their argument will be St Kilda's been around for 151 years and won one premiership.
But shit, they've created a few good memories in amongst those years.
True.
That's why we she's a roller coaster ride, but when the wins come along, they're a lot more special. And when that big bloody flag bloody unveiled and that Moorabbin there, and it'll be a special one. Whenever it'll be, hopefully it'll be in my lifetime.
100%. The latest news, though, getting around is St Kilda's talking about wanting to have the old, similar to a couple other clubs like Essendon and a couple others that play at both Marvel and the MCG. They want more MCG games. Well, I don't
see something about that today, and I didn't actually read the article, but I just flicking through it, and I seen one of my mates had commented underneath, like, if we're only going to get buddy 10 or 12,000 to a game at Etihad, how can we expect to fill some crowds at buddy the G? Which is a good question, but you need to play more games there to get used to it, and for when the big days ever get a crack at it.
I don't know. I would like this is a bit backward, I suppose, in a lot of ways, but they're playing AFLW games at Moorabbin. I wouldn't mind playing 4 or 5 of our home games out of Moorabbin against some of the interstate teams.
Yeah, if you could get a bit more bloody, you'd need a bit more
infrastructure there and that, yeah.
Yeah, but I know they can bring in the old bloody temporary grandstand type situation or whatever they can do, but you got to spend money to make money, as they say. So spend a bit on on that sort of thing. Obviously, you can't afford to build new grandstands, but if you could get some temporary stuff that was up to safe, health and safety bloody levels, it'd be a good go. I wouldn't be complaining about that, mate.
No, and the thing is about it, if they're playing the preseason games on there, it's got to be AFL standard, the ground itself that they're playing on, as in the surface. So that shouldn't be an issue in theory. Why not play against, say, the bloody Giants, Gold Coast?
The Giants, their ground. They're not the greatest grounds.
No.
We have to go and play on them. So yeah, and obviously the surface at Moorabbin is great. The only thing is just trying to get the crowds in. You'd need some sort of seating buddy situation, I guess. But it all comes down to health and safety and shit at the end. So it's the same as getting in and out of the game, I suppose, if anything goes wrong.
Yeah, and look, it would probably, even if they got, say, if they had it set up so they could have 15,000 at it, right?
Yeah,
I'll guarantee they'll make more money having 15,000 at Moorabbin than what they would probably having 25 at Marvel, because Marvel costs so much to bloody open the doors.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
So, but anyway, that's it in a nutshell of the questions of our nearly mid-season review. We've got Melbourne at the MCG this week. Quickly, how do we see us going?
Melbourne are coming off a loss that no one probably expected. So, as I say, that comes back to that thing before. Always something with St Kilda when the team that they play. I think with the players coming back in, I just think we'll completely different. Well, assuming they come back in, completely different team to what we have been in the last month. And I'm just looking forward to seeing it. I'm not going to say we're going to win or anything like that, but I'm just looking forward to see what that brings to what that brings to the team, what it brings the players going into their rightful positions, and with how the whole situation works. I'm looking forward to it. So I think it'll be a positive.
Yep. Sammy, you got any thoughts on the game?
Yeah, hopefully we can get a win. I reckon it'll be if we do get those players back, confidence will be up. Could be a real close game. But yeah.
What about you, Tim?
Look, I'd be happy to be within 4 kicks of them, because them at their best in the way we've been playing, it could get very ugly very quickly. So I hope the heck that we come to play. Also, too, if our delivery's not good against Melbourne, their backmen are going to have a field day on us, because they love the intercept mark and bounce off the intercept mark. So they've got to keep the goal. I think Lever's potentially out injured. They've got to keep May accountable. And maybe the key to that is that our boy King finally, gets a few goals.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I really dislike May.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Look, he would have to be.
He's good. He's a very talented player. That's three quarters of it.
Have you ever met a bloke that's been hit by his mates as often as he has, though?
Oh, has he? Has he been?
He's been clocked a couple of times by so-called teammates and things like that. So
That's got to tell you something, doesn't it?
It does. The guy's a wank. But I didn't say that. But
no. But he's a very, very talented footballer.
100%. So we're at that lovely stage where people are thinking about bed and stuff like that. We hope you have a good old listen to, or view, I should say view, this episode. Subscribe to our channel. That's a channel these days. Also get on board on our Facebook page. Interact with us.
Yeah,
as much as you like.
6 questions for this boy.
Yes, don't forget Sam's special delivery, which will.
I think Gary's been our main man with questions, which has been quite. I appreciate that, Gary. So thank you.
Yes, Gary. Special cheer out for Gary. And yeah, just fling the questions our way. Josh Watson will be doing our editing and adding that lovely bit at the front of
Bloody
the
legend.
episode.
Josh, keep up the great work. Thank you.
Yep, great
I
legend.
better give my wife a plug too for the nice artwork behind you there.
That's right. And we must thank the lovely Libby for that. Also, too, we just want to reach out and say, from my perspective, Sammy, what you're doing for your grandfather, you're a legend, mate. Keep it up. I'm sure he's very thankful for you spending time with him.
Oh, it's good, eh? It's good. That's what family's about, mate.
100%. And Saners, we are all family as supporters, so let's not fight with each other on social media. Let's get behind each other. Let's get behind the players. Look, this year might not be our year, which it probably won't be, but let's look forward to next year. And incidentally, Saints fans, before we go, how in the heck did Jackson get best on ground against our boy Marshall? Marshall destroyed him.
Yeah. But then he's made to look better when he's got the likes of Caminetti and Machito and that on him. You know what I mean? Makes him look better.
Yeah.
But if you've got Big Jack there, fucking helping him out, he's not going to look that much better.
100%. So we're at that stage, boys. Throw it away.
Just
With
2 seconds before
Yep.
that, to anyone who's still watching, we haven't bored you to death. Please get on and interact and give us your thoughts about what our thoughts are.
Yep.
If you think they're freaking stupid, let us know. Constructive criticism is always good. We just want to hear back from you guys. Cheers.
100%. Lads,
Wherever you're watching the game from this weekend, sink a few beers.
Put in a few cheers. Up my Saints!
Up the mighty Saints!